welcome to this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with...
Sean.
Chris and Lee.
And no Nick Knowles.
No. But a Nick Knowles reference so quickly into the podcast.
We're not messing around this week.
I'm getting it out of the way now. I mean, you know, he wants justice and he will stop at nothing.
That has to be a record.
Justice for Nick Knowles.
Well, he seems to find a way of complaining about anything and everything, which is amazing, seeing as he's a builder. And if you complain at a builder, it usually gets nowhere.
He's not a builder, he's a cameraman.
Yeah. He's a television presenter.
Sorry if I'm doing any builders down. Hiya, Jeff.
Nothing wrong with being a builder, but he's not one.
No, I'll go with that. He's not a builder. Do we know what he is?
A cameraman who accidentally found himself in front of the camera once. There you go.
In that case, he's not a very good cameraman if he doesn't know which end does what.
Exactly.
So how are we all doing?
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
Reasonably.
So good to reasonable.
Yeah.
And did we enjoy our break from having an F1 race this weekend? Because it just seems like we've had races every week since about 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't have that. Like I could quite happily watch a Grand Prix every weekend apart from Christmas week.
I mean, yeah, you're saying it was a break, but we had the MotoGP and the BSB on, so...
That's true. There was still a fair amount of motorsport going on.
Yeah.
Although, we missed the NASCAR fight last night.
Did anybody see the fucking incident?
What incident?
Well, yeah, this is the
incident.
first I'm hearing about there being an incident, which is my interest.
Oh, there was an incident
in NASCAR.
and some shoving.
Well, essentially, Bubba tried to fucking kill Larson, and then when they stopped, he decided he was going to try and fight him for trying to kill him.
Excellent.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, if somebody tried to kill me, I'd be
No,
like, I'm not having this.
no. You've mixed the issues around here. Bubba tried to kill Larson,
and then
when
started
they
the
stopped,
And then wanted to continue it
Bubba-
off track.
Yeah,
So maybe he felt bad about failing to kill him.
and thought he'd do it with his fists.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like genuinely, even by NASCAR standards, shocking driving.
I mean, it's a fairly low bar to begin with.
It is a fairly low bar to begin with, but it's just those speeds. Like, I mean, like literally, he essentially Larson was coming up on the inside on him. Bubba Wallace moved in and hit the wall, then came off the wall and hit Larson, and then for some reason seemed to think that it was Larson's fault that he hit the wall and then hit him, and then essentially fucking speared him off the track.
Sounds like I only saw the shoving afterwards. I couldn't actually find the
mental,
couldn't find the lead up to it.
Yeah, like I say, even by NASCAR standards, that was a
it's
stupid thing to do.
It's not the slowest of circuits either, is Las Vegas.
No. And NASCARs aren't the slowest of cars.
No.
They also appear to be made of crepe paper when they crash.
They do crash spectacularly, don't they? Like, shit is just coming off all over the place.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the headlights are painted on.
Yes.
You know, why even bother painting them on if they're not going to work?
Yeah, like the stadium trucks in the in Australia. They're just stickers.
Yeah.
They're not real. They're not real.
So it wouldn't look like a true stock car if it didn't follow the structure of stock.
I've not seen all that many stock cars, sort of stock model cars with only one seat.
True, they have made some modifications.
And cars usually don't have mesh where the windows would be and stickers where the lights would be. Actually, no, saying that, we're on the Isle of Man. People do replace the lights with stickers because there's no MOTs over here. Anyway, shall we get back to talking about the cars that we usually talk about?
Let's go.
Yes, we have a US Grand Prix this weekend, back to Circuit of the Americas, as we say every year, Herman Tilke's greatest hits and greatest track.
Yeah, it is.
They've renamed a corner after Mario Andretti.
Which one?
Is cool. The last corner. It's now the Andretti corner.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, if they're going to name it after him, that is what to call it, I suppose.
Well, yes, they can't name it after him and call it something else. I think.
Well, they could.
But he'd still know.
Yeah.
Anyone see the footage of Mario driving the McLaren around Laguna Seca the other day?
Yeah, I when I spotted it, I went, "Oh, that's like a McLaren." And then I looked at it like a proper modern McLaren. And then I looked at it a bit harder, and I went, "No, it's not." And then I heard it, and I went, "It definitely isn't." And then I'm not gonna lie, I did have to go a little bit of digging. It was the MP428, which was the 2013 McLaren. Now, I would much rather they just kept the original livery on that 2013 McLaren than try and make it look like the current year's race car. But in all fairness, it's still a lot more modern than anything Mario Andretti has driven. How old is he? 82?
Yeah.
And so to be able to even drive a Formula One car is fairly impressive. I did see Mika Hakkinen was on the same parade lap. I don't know what it was. The exhibition. Yeah, Mika Hakkinen was there as well in an early 80s McLaren.
I didn't see the Mika Hakkinen.
No, managed to miss that one completely. It's a shame they couldn't, because I mean this lap was because of his bet with Ron Dennis, Zach Brown earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
It's a shame they couldn't arrange one for this weekend. Do it in front of fans.
It's a shame they couldn't arrange to let him in the sport.
Yeah, as a team owner.
Yeah, there is that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever want to be completely on the fringes of Formula One, be American.
Pretty much.
I know Zach Brown's doing okay, isn't he? Yeah. He has, as I said, I think on last week's podcast, or maybe even the week before that, his quota of make sure you get some sponsors on that car has been fulfilled and then some.
It's right. Do we still like the McLaren livery? Because I thought what you thought, Flood, about that McLaren Andretti was in, and then that made me start thinking about the old like silver black Vodafone McLaren. And I thought, have we gone too far?
I like the orange McLaren, the papaya McLaren. Papaya and bit of blue was good. My last favourite McLaren was the Monaco Gulf livery.
Gulf one, yeah. Well, I think when we were looking for liveries, that's kind of what we were all hoping for, wasn't it? As like a permanent colour scheme, even without Gulf, that would have been cool.
If you go to our website, our logo on there is still in the Gulf colours. I haven't changed it back.
Well, and we should do that as a permanent.
I was going to say, is that out of dedication
protest.
to that livery, or have you just not been asked?
Permanent reminder to how stupid McLaren are.
If we're going to do a whole thing on McLaren's bad decisions, we'll need an entire podcast series for that.
It's fair.
That could be something for over the winter.
Yeah. McLaren's greatest misses. We could also do another series running at the same time on Alonso's best career decisions. Oh God,
there'll be some overlap.
That'd be
there'll be a crossover.
That'd be very
episode.
short, wouldn't it?
It'd be very short, and also a very long time ago.
I was always a fan of Mika Hakkinen's wife. If we're going for McLaren's famous misses.
Oh dear!
I do recall somebody saying at one point during a race, she's on TV more than he is, and he's leading.
Yeah, there was a real time in Formula One. It was around about, I think maybe Damon Hill kicked it off with his wife during his championship year, but there was and so many camera cuts back to spouses of Formula One drivers. It was really quite odd for a while.
Yeah. I mean, you still get it now, but I mean, it's not as prevalent as it was in the late 90s, early 2000s.
No, but I mean, there was times in the 90s where they'd cut away from an overtake to show you Damon Hill's wife.
Now they just cut away from an overtake to show you Lance Stroll.
Yeah, going over a chicane. Yeah, but talking about Zach Brown, he's been quite vocal as well, hasn't he, about this budget cap breach, as have quite a few others, as the fallout continues from Red Bull's breaking of rules.
Yeah, I mean, he's effectively called it cheating, or called it effectively cheating.
He said it constitutes cheating. Yeah, so that means he joins Toto Wolff, who's also said if Red Bull aren't going to be punished, or if they're only financially punished, then I guess we're breaking the budget cap this year as well. Then
I'll go proper old school. Do the voice.
Oh, no, I can't do it now. I don't have a quote. I don't have a quote in front of me.
Right.
Let me look for one.
Do we know the full story of it yet? Because nothing's been put out as a full press release of what the rule break is or anything, is there?
The FIA put it out. Was it last week, just before the podcast?
Yeah, but it was nebulous, wasn't it? It was two late, putting your paperwork in late, and one which was Red Bull, which was a minor infringement, which could be anything up to 5% of the budget, or is it 5 or 7% of the budget, something like that?
5% of the budget, which is $7 million, roughly about £5 million. Well, was about £5 million, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Depends
if
who the Prime Minister is as to how much the pound's worth against the dollar. If you hang on a kwarteng, I'll just look that up.
maybe
that is
for.
the shortest available unit of time now, a kwarteng.
Yeah, it is, yeah. If you're still alive, that is, anyway. Continuing onwards, Mattia Binotto has spoken out about it. Strangely, Aston Martin haven't, but they were the other team to have been thought to make the slight breach, weren't they? So
Yeah, but would you want Lawrence Stroll making a statement?
It looks like a hostage video every time he
would it
makes
not be
a
Mike
statement.
Crack? I said Mike Crack.
I think the thing to remember is when it, because don't get me wrong, obviously, if there's been some sort of major fucking breach of the rules and it's deemed that whatever they did, breaking the budget cap last year, had a significant impact on the design of this year's car, for instance, then something should be done about it, and it should be done hard, because we're not. The budget cap can't be flexible, can it? If you've got a flexible budget cap, there's no point in having one in.
Yeah, neither can wings and floors, but that didn't stop them, according to
Well,
some.
this is true. But the thing to remember is that because they are the Constructors' World Champions and the Drivers' World Champions, and they have once again built the best car on the grid this year, if everybody but Toro Rosso will have a problem with it, even if it's only a minor infringement, because everybody stands to gain if something happens to them.
The rumour that seemed to be kind of gathering the pace over the weekend was that it's linked to Adrian Newey's salary, which obviously has quite a big impact on the design of the car, if there is anything
massively,
behind
Yeah,
it.
Mercedes won the Constructors' Championship last year.
Yeah, Red Bull.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was thinking that they won the Constructors as well, but
No, they'll only win that this year. But there's also, I understand where these guys are coming from. You can't set a precedent of you broke the budget cap by a little bit. Yeah, go on then. Here's a little bit of a fine.
Yeah.
Because then everyone's going to break the budget cap by the same amount. And then every time anybody does it, it's going to be well, you only give them a fine, so it's only right that we get a fine too. And they'll push and push to the limit until somebody gets points deductions.
Mm-hmm.
And then that renders the budget cap totally useless to start with. So I understand where Toto Wolff's coming from in that respect totally. Well, if they don't penalise them, then what's the point? We may as well just, we may as well build the fastest car we possibly can and spend as much money as we want.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, there has to be some kind of penalty. I don't think it's going to be, right, okay, we're going to take 10 points off Max Verstappen, therefore handing the World Championship to Lewis Hamilton. That ship is sailed as far as I'm concerned, but stranger things have happened.
I can't believe people want that to happen either.
I don't know if people want it to happen. I think there's a certain extreme Twitter users that want it to happen.
To the people that do want it to happen, I think it would be a real mark on Lewis Hamilton's career if he beat Schumacher's record by having a championship handed to him
Well,
Like
it's
that.
like Matt's tweet, wasn't it? Where I responded to it saying, "Do you remember when races were won by men in racing suits,
Yeah.
not by men with white shirts with logos on their shirts and then accountants." Why are they deciding race wins?
Which really annoyed Carl Ford, because he's an F1 fan who's also an accountant and wears a white shirt with his company logo
Yeah, he
on
tried
it.
to start the hashtag cancel flood, and I don't think it took off.
Well, you're still here.
Yeah, he also then told me that during the Japanese Grand Prix,
Wait till he clips the bit from Patreon before.
During the Japanese Grand Prix break, he also said that he was doing something fairly strange as well. Whilst I was painting a wall, waiting for them to decide what to do with the start of the race, Carl Ford was making soup.
Oh.
That's a very early morning soup.
It is. I thought that, but I thought, each to their own.
Yeah.
I was painting, so what can I say?
If you've got the time for it, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. So back to the actual thing, the situation. They've got to set a precedent, haven't they? They've got to either deduct points or they've got to make it really hard for them to spend any money next year or this year.
I think we win tunnel time. I think we win tunnel time. They lose.
Yeah, kind of make it a virtual point deduction.
Yeah, it'll be that's been floated around, and it's the.
Actually, no, because the less constructors' points you get, the more wind tunnel time you get.
Well, no, because what they're going to have to do is because the budget cap was designed to make the teams, make the back end of the team sort of close up, wasn't it? Because that's what this set of rules for 2022 was all about as well, making sure that the racing was closer and that the teams could, close up. That hasn't happened yet, but if you're a team that's breached the rules, then you should be pushed further back and being given less development time, less development resources, essentially slashing their budget cap, or, as you say, wind tunnel time, CFD time, whatever, as a penalty, kind of seems fair, because then you're sort of being pushed, you're letting everybody else catch up with you then because you broke the rules last year.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. So you broke the rules to do it once. We're going to make it harder on you, just to make up for it.
Yeah, it's the only fair way I can see to do things. I mean, they might take constructors' points away from Red Bull, but this is from last year's budget cap, isn't it? So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so they can only take constructors' points away from Red Bull last year, and that doesn't change anything because I think Ferrari were quite far behind. Unless they delete all of their points. And then, as you quite rightly pointed out, Paul, you get more time in the wind tunnel if you got your points taken off.
Yeah, Ferrari were 362 points. 262 points behind Red Bull.
Yeah,
wow.
So I mean that's
I suppose the only thing you could say, as far as the money spending last year goes, is like Lewis Hamilton pointed out that. I can't remember what race he said it was now, but he pointed the race out, which is where Mercedes stopped bringing updates to last year's car. And I remember as we were talking about it at the time, how Red Bull seemed to develop all the way through the season up until the end of the year.
Yep, and Hamilton's got a point because he said about that 300,000 even could make a difference in a bit of floor, wing.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you can't put a monetary value on genius. Do you know what I mean? If somebody comes up with something that's fucking dynamite, it doesn't necessarily have to cost all of the millions to implement if it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But that did make me think that. I was thinking, well, I get that part of it. If they've stopped bringing updates because they needed to stay under the budget cap, and that's what's put Red Bull over it. Again, I mean, Red Bull is still claiming complete innocence, aren't they? So you never know.
Yeah.
It could be a simple fucking accountancy flaw here, which is going to be terrible. I must say, if it turns out that it is like a nothing burger and they haven't really breached anything, there isn't a of a certain section of fans, and not a single one of them is going to take this, and it will be like Red Bull have brought themselves out of trouble, or the Formula One helping Red Bull again type of thing. So that won't be a particularly good thing for anybody.
No, and like I said, they do have to set a precedent. It's just how they go about doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got to make, because if everyone remembers when the news broke with Singapore GP, wasn't it? The rumours were already flying around that one team had broken the cap, and we were supposed to find out before the Japanese Grand Prix, and we didn't. They delayed it till the day after. The Toto Wolff was saying then, like, if you broke the budget cap in 21, it kind of means you're overdeveloped for this year as well for 22, because even though the rules changed, you still had that capacity to, develop this year's car.
Yep.
And also, if you've overdeveloped this year's car and you stay within the budget cap this year, well, then you're kind of breaking the rules for 23 as well, because you've got an advantage that's not going to get clawed back by the others for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear anything until the end of the season. And it depends on how harsh the FIA want to be. I don't think drivers' points are going to come into it. That's the only thing I will say. I don't think Verstappen is going to have his title taken away from him. I don't think Perez is going to have any points docked. I think it'll be team points if there's a points deduction. And if, the worst case scenario, I guess they could eradicate Red Bull from the Constructors' Championship for 22.
Yeah, but
I mean, there is precedent on this, because it happened to McLaren after Spygate. They were removed from the championship.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, the drivers kept their points, didn't they? But the
but the team weren't, and they had last choice on pit garage for a year.
I think the problem with that is this situation is so performance based that if let's say that was to happen, that the team was to be thrown out of the championship, that still wouldn't be enough for disgruntled fans, because they'd be saying, well, you've just said the car's basically illegal, and yet the drivers have still took the championship off my favourite driver.
Yeah,
and I don't, by saying like a certain section of fans, I'm not actually against that point of view. I can completely fucking understand it. It's such a murky situation for Formula One to find itself in.
Like in '97, when it was declared that Michael Schumacher had tried to kill Jacques Villeneuve.
Yes, the very same.
Michael Schumacher in 1997 actually scored 0 points in the World Championship. He's not classified at all that year.
Good. I wish it would have happened for Damon Hill's year, to be fair.
28 years ago. It'll never get let go, will it?
No, ever.
I mean, the problem that we've got sort of looking at this from the outside is, one, it's a big game of he said, she said.
Yeah.
It's all about the he says, she says bullshit.
Couldn't have put it better myself. And if we do actually find out what the nuts and bolts of this are, you're going to probably need a degree in pure mathematics just to be able to understand the numbers.
Yeah.
I think any sport that introduces a cost cap or a salary cap, they're always packed with loopholes, and you just do not. It's not possible for the layman to understand how the hell it's worked out.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's Formula One is such a complex sport anyway. There's so many like elements and moving parts to it. I mean, even in the world of motorsport, it's pretty fucking complicated. How do you work that out? Like the budget cap thing. I mean,
there will have been rules set out.
It could rumble on for fucking ages. This.
Yeah, there will have been rules set out before they implemented it, and everyone will have had to agree to them.
Yeah.
Hence why it took a while for the actual thing to come into effect in the first place. But yeah, it's It's never straightforward, but it's at the same time, it's something that Aston Martin were fined, weren't they, for misinterpreting the rules, because they thought, oh no, you see, we read it this way, just like you know full well that you agreed to the set of rules being put in place to say this, not what you think it says. So that's why Aston Martin got fined.
Was it Williams as well? Just got a small
Williams
fine
put their
for
homework
being a bit
in
late. Yeah.
Yeah, they got detention on lines.
Yeah, I don't know. I just hope it's fixed quickly. That's all.
It's figuring out as well how you decide which bit of your spending is the bit that's taken you over the budget cap. It's
because they said catering.
Yeah.
So that's only the case if you put catering last.
Yeah. Like, were you waiting for the invoice? Like, what happened here?
It's like, has it all come out of the same bank account? Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe every team needs to know how much is the budget cap? 300 million or something like that? 150 million? What is it?
145.
Yeah,
145 million.
So
dollars.
Every year before the start of the season, every team needs to put like 145 million in a Revolut account, and then they can only draw money off from that account.
I mean,
That's what you mean.
It's not a bad shout.
That'd work.
That is your official salary cap amount.
Yes, so instead of being in credit, you have to debit your account, and then
Formula One.
Yeah, quite possibly. Why did you sing that in the tune of Justin Hawkins Rides Again?
Oh, I fucking love Justin Hawkins Rides Again. That's probably why.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
How is he one of the best YouTubers?
I don't know. He's such a good guitarist as well, isn't he? You see him watch stuff and how quickly he works stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Formula One, carry on.
I was going to say I went to see The Darkness when they played Aeroba TT, and I was gutted that the theme to Justin Hawkins Rides Again was the only thing they didn't play.
Oh, they didn't play it? Oh,
No, I was gutted.
I'd have shouted it at him many times.
It's just a shame that we started this podcast all those many years ago to talk about racing, and we found ourselves talking about
Justin Hawkins.
I mean, we can cope with the Justin Hawkins thing. That's fine. It's just we seem to be talking about business more than we actually do about things
racing
that happen on tracks.
Well, the thing is, do you remember when we first started this podcast? We were a little bit worried about the future of Formula One. Bernie was still in charge, and we didn't know where it was going. Like Lewis Hamilton was using Snapchat and being told he wasn't allowed, and we were all a bit like, well, where does this leave like the modern fan? We're not going to get any more modern fans in. Quite quickly after we started the podcast, the rumbling started that maybe someone was going to take over, and they did, of course. Liberty came in and did their thing, but
after looking at your average GTS fan, I feel we were wrong. I feel maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe we weren't ready for new fans.
No, I think new fans is good, but as I say, we've ended up with races being decided in offices, not on racetracks, and it's just a bit. Races and championships and all sorts, and now we're looking at accountants and we're like, well, are they going to keep the championship from 1947? I know that's before Formula One started, before anyone tweets me. But it's just like, oh, hang on a second. I think if you think about it, the rule that Niki Lauda wasn't actually cleared to come back by a doctor, so maybe we should take that title away from him.
Yeah,
like, come on, man, just. You can't break the rules, but at the same time, let's not have races and shit settled in offices.
Yeah, I agree.
I like that idea, though, Lee. Start with your budget and work down to zero.
It's either that or Formula One has to embed, this will probably cost too much money. It has to embed a accountant within each team. So essentially, there needs to be an independent body in each team through the course of a season that has to sign off on the expenditures.
Send the auditors in every month or something.
No, not every month. Just have you have
Independent accountant.
Yeah, this is Simon. He is now your FIA accredited accountant.
I mean, yeah.
Simon would be such a prick as well, wouldn't he? Like, you wouldn't even be able to buy a bagel without getting it past him.
Well, this is
I've got an
exactly the
idea.
mistake Red Bull have made with their bagels, potentially.
I've got an
Well,
idea as well for the punishment,
Go on.
For every time you break a rule in the season, you lose one member of your pit crew for the rest of the season.
kill them. I mean, like, I'm with you. Don't get me wrong. My surprise was there, but I'm with you because I tell you what, it would only take a couple of executions in the paddock for people to stop breaking rules.
I wasn't thinking Squid Game.
No. I think you're right. This shit works. We've seen it over hundreds of years. We've seen this sort of stuff.
I was going to say it's kind of like what they do in NASCAR. 'Cause if a car fails scrutineering, the crew chief of that team gets ejected for the rest of the weekend.
Oh dear. Okay.
Well, that's a fun rule.
Yeah, fair enough. Kind of like sending your manager off on football, like when he's misbehaved, or she, obviously. But yeah, it's sending the manager off, sending to the stands. Right, that's it. Christian Horner, you're not allowed at any racetrack. Although, to be fair, that'll probably make Formula 1 a lot better.
I was going to say
Yeah,
that.
turn his radio off. It'll be fine.
Certainly made watching it on Sky a lot better.
Hmm.
Yeah, come, Sky, if you're listening, can we have Gunter this weekend, please?
It should be good to this weekend, shouldn't it? Because it is
Should be
the US
different.
race.
Should be
How's
different.
Sky going?
Huh?
'Cause how's Sky going as far as Formula 1 goes? Because I'm hearing nothing but bad stuff about like commentary wise when it comes to Sky these days.
No, it's
David
ju-
Croft has dropped off quite a lot lately, and I don't know why, but he's getting a lot wrong during the middle of the race. Like, and there were, he'd be talking about like Max Verstappen catching Charles Leclerc or something, and then we'll see a Ferrari behind a Red Bull, and it's Sainz and Perez, and he'd be like, "Oh, and Verstappen's gone past." Like, no, he hasn't. That's clearly Perez and Sainz. Like, calm down.
Maybe he's channeling Murray.
Yeah, I think he is. It's something. Maybe he's reached that limit of Formula 1 commentator where they shouldn't be allowed to commentate anymore. Sorry, you've reached your quota of years.
I mean, Sky have just signed an exclusive deal until 2029 now.
Mm-hmm.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah.
Like how Formula 1 now has its very own viable streaming service.
Which relies on Sky.
They rely on each other.
Why does it rely on Sky?
Sky actually produce a lot of the content for F1 TV.
But it's just the world feed, though, isn't it?
No, a lot of the other non-live content.
Oh yeah, but I mean, realistically, you don't need that. You know, it's like I think the best thing about F1 TV is the stuff that isn't Sky. Like that, the fact that you don't get any of the Sky coverage is the best thing about having F1 TV. So I don't understand why, you know, in a world where everyone that produces stuff, which is, I mean, oddly enough, you know, it was fucking WWE, wasn't it, that really got ahead of the curve when it came to like streaming services. But like, I don't understand why they're not pushing their own one. You know, it's dead reasonable. It's what, £5 a month, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, it depends where you are. This is actually a very good place to put a jump cut in.
It is.
Patreons won't actually know there's a jump cut here, but everybody else will. And here is the jump cut. It's a special offer this week that we've got from NordVPN. They are doing an offer where you can grab an exclusive deal from them by going to nordvpn.com/4wheels, that's the number 4 and the word wheels, to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan and an extra free 4 months. Completely risk-free as well. They offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on this. And I've got to say, I've been using it myself lately. It is a really good service. You can access from anywhere. So if you're going away, you can get your favourite content from your own country, even, when you're travelling abroad. It's one click, open the map, click on a location, and you just get connected straight away in seconds. It is actually that easy. No more bandwidth throttling based on traffic type, since NordVPN encrypts all traffic. Your ISP can't slow down your streaming speed. And if a platform that shows your favourite motorsport, for example, isn't available in your country, you can change your virtual location to one that is. And we have used it to be able to watch some of the F1 TV content over here, because for some reason Formula 1 don't actually recognise the Isle of Man. So I'll give you that address again. It's nordvpn.com/4 wheels. And then just sign up there, you'll get a huge discount and 4 extra months for free. Can't argue with that. Right, back to the madness. And that was the jump cut.
That's good, because I need a
Oh
cough.
dear.
Right.
Should have held off longer.
The reason we have a jump cut there is because I use that to watch F1 TV, and it's fucking ace.
You can't get a better approval than that.
No, it's that's the thing as well. I've never used a VPN before, and I never needed to until the F1 TV thing happened, and now I use Nord. I've got it on my laptop now. I've got it on my phone. I've got on both my laptops and my phone, and I just leave it on now, so nasty people aren't scraping me fucking data all the time.
And it means when F1 TV don't recognise the Isle of Man, we can exist
Yes.
in the VPN world.
A
Yeah.
lot
And
of sites don't recognise the Isle of Man.
And
Funniest one was when the official TT app wasn't recognised on the Isle of Man.
Yeah, that was a
that's
problem.
not good. That's not a good thing.
They only paid for a minute. They got the downside more. But yes, that's NordVPN/4 wheels.
Is that the number 4?
The number
not
4.
the word 4.
Yeah. And there is free stuff and cheaper stuff available. Go to the website. We've got a link on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people. There are people listening who didn't need to know about this.
Yeah, but they still might want a VPN.
Well, then they can listen to the full version of the
Yeah.
podcast.
In fact, if you if anyone does do it and they want to message me if they're having any trouble with it, then I've done it, so they can just drop me a line.
Lee Stevens, technical expert.
I can't say it's going to be great, but it'll be something.
You're not allowed to have you tried turning it off and back on again, because our listeners are smart enough to have already done that. Anyway, back to F1. Yes, so it has become all business. But can we just get back to racing? You know,
Please.
can it just be, yeah, all right, we know there's going to be car development, but can people stop cheating, stop fucking around, stop giving the stewards cause to decide a race result or a season result in an office?
Do you think it's ever been different? Really, when you think about it, you know, it's. I mean, even when we go back to the Prost and Senna debacles and stuff,
I mean,
Formula One has had a certain amount of dirt for a while, hasn't it?
yeah, I mean, to be honest, you watch the Senna documentary, and when Balest was in charge,
Mm-hmm.
him and Senna did not see eye to eye.
I mean, this is how F1 rules have worked, aren't they? You get presented with the rules, you find a way to work around them, so they change the rules, then you find a new way to work around them. This is just the latest version of that.
And that's the genius of like the people that are involved in the sport, isn't it? It's kind of one of the things I thought about the budget cap breaking, because they're all trying to break the budget cap. Let's be perfectly fucking honest. They're all trying to break it and hide it all the time.
Yes. Which of our subsidiaries can we hide this in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, didn't we, like, even before the budget cap happened, we were talking about the idea of, well, could they have like shell companies and stuff like that, or would there be a way, if driver salaries weren't included, could like Lewis Hamilton get an extra 50 million that ends up going back into the team somehow? Or so it's not like we all weren't prepared for that fact that this might get a little bit fucking squirrely.
But
yes,
again, it's where the loopholes are and what teams have found, and
It's in principle, it's not hugely different to things like the F duct or DAS or the double diffuser and stuff like that. It's just that instead of design, it's now accountancy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's you stick something down on paper because you think you can break the ever-expanding volume of rules that you've got next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, technological advances are fine, aren't they? Things like DAS. DAS was genius.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was one of the best things that I thought, wow, we got a team who's at the top of their game here. They have been for years, and they're still pushing the boundaries of what's like possible.
And instantly the FIA was, that's very good. Not next year.
Yeah. But they did use it for a couple of, it was 2020, wasn't it? They did use it for a couple of like safety car restarts, help them to warm up the tyres and stuff beforehand. You saw a few times the safety car restarts that year. Mercedes were just way out, because they managed to get the tyres up to temperature. But yeah, then of course the FIA were wise to it pretty quickly, and it got, as you say, it got banned quite quickly.
It's a shame, isn't it?
But that's different. It is, but a technological advancement is a lot different to being like, well, if I spend this, then I'm in
creative
debt.
accountancy.
Correct. Yeah. I would rather somebody did the I'm not entirely sure this part of a wing is legal, but it doesn't say that it's illegal to do this. And they check with the rules and they go, well, let's do it and see what the other teams say. I prefer that rather than, oh yeah, well, we developed the floor we spent 900,000 when really we should only have spent 600,000. So yeah, we've gone over on the floor by that much. But let's say let's just jiggle the accounts around and say that it was because of staff sickness and catering, because we did have that one party where Christian Horner did eat all the burgers. So
we invited Cyril Abiteboul around for just like a week.
Yeah, Eric Boulier was there with the pastries. Yeah, so
that's the one I was trying to think of.
I was going to say Cyril Abiteboul is still waiting to be served somewhere because they can't understand what he's ordered.
Okay, Cyril, thanks very much.
So basically what we're saying is Red Bull overspends on wings.
Yes, would appear so.
I've been saving that one.
No, Twitter has done that one extensively.
Oh right, okay. I've not been on Twitter a great deal recently. I've been taking a break.
Twitter has done a full menu related to Red Bull. Every possible dish you can imagine is on there.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I wonder if that's it. I wonder if that's where the confusion is, because we're saying it's catering. Because I'm all for a budget cap as far as like for what a team has to spend to get a car racing. That's fine. I don't believe that should include the snazzy schmoozy bit outside of the paddock. It's like if Red Bull want to host like a fucking 1,000 guests a race in the lap of luxury, and they're willing to foot the bill for it, that doesn't make the car go quicker.
I suppose that's the difference, isn't it? Is it catering for your race team who are very much attached to the car, or is it paddock catering for Red Bull, the brand, rather than Red Bull Racing?
Yeah, I was going to say that's it, because I mean Red Bull can say the energy centre and all the guests in there. They're actually guests of the sponsors, who are Red Bull, the overall company.
Yeah.
Red Bull Racing is a separate company to Red Bull, whatever the holding company of the whole Red Bull organisation is.
So I think you've got Red Bull Technologies, you've got Red Bull Racing, Red Bull Powertrains is still a limited company for some fucking reason.
But the best thing is not to have that as part of the budget cap, not to have the catering say, because I know what you're saying about feeding the team, because the team need to be fed, because they need to eat to work.
Yeah.
But it's still like you have to feed the team anyway. It's not like you couldn't choose not to feed the team. So in a way,
I don't know. Lotus tried when they were running out of money, when they got locked out of their own hospitality.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's got to happen anyway. So it's not performance enhancing.
But then where do you draw the line on sort of essential spends though? Because like you've got to have your hands devices. You've got to have a halo.
Oh no, well essentially that involves preparing cars and getting it on track. I don't think feeding the humans that
So for
get
you,
the cars.
salary cap should be specific, like car specific.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
you.
and I think there's a pernickety grey line there going. Oh well, the team need fed. You go right, okay, but realistically, it's one grey line. It's not that doesn't drift into another grey line. It's still a hard and fast point for saying we've got to feed our staff.
But then they could also throw out, we need to spend money on safety improvements to the car.
No, but that's not the same thing.
But it's still a necessity.
No, but you have that in the budget cap, of course.
The problem is, I mean, Formula One teams higher ups will argue any point to the death.
I mean, in an ideal world, you would like to think that there's a big list already, what goes towards your salary cap, what doesn't go towards your salary cap. You'd like to think that list already exists, but I'm guessing the fact that we're arguing over a couple of million somewhere or other suggests it's probably not as specific a list as it should be.
Yeah.
I can't believe we spent an hour talking about maths.
I know.
Oh, well, get ready for another one. Story came out this week about Rocket.
Oh, fucking hell, really?
Yes, it looks...
Not paying anyone.
Not paying anyone at all for any of the main title sponsorship deals. Now, that's with Williams, was it Chip Ganassi in IndyCar that they were... that Calderon was racing for until...
Nicholas Hamilton's British touring car team drive.
Yeah, probably that as well. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
A range of stuff.
Yeah, World Snooker. A
I for one am
basketball team.
flabbergasted.
I mean, who would have thought a company that is trying to sell energy drinks and 2-year-old mobile phone technology was going to be a little bit iffy?
I didn't know they did energy drinks as well.
Yeah, they did
such as the attention I've been paying.
Yeah, they did a range of energy drinks aimed at women.
Did they now?
Yes.
Well, I missed that, so that went well.
I don't think you could buy them anywhere.
Ah.
Sounds like another.
Yes, no. The fact that you know about this and I don't suggests they've clearly marketed it very well.
The gentleman with the beard and the hair who runs the other company that didn't pay their sponsors congratulated Lewis Hamilton on his 2021 title win by doctoring an article headline to make it look like it was official.
This is the one who's still trying to deny he sponsors a team in BSB even though they won the title.
Oh, still doesn't sponsor them. I've got pictures of him sponsoring them.
Claims he doesn't. Claims it's not. No, he doesn't sponsor them, and they need to get rid of his logo, even though they're like the best team by quite a clear margin.
And the logo isn't his. For American listeners, by the way, there's a whole book just come out on the Rich Energy saga by a couple of fantastic writers from the States, Alanis King and Elizabeth Blackstock. I'll post a link to where you can get the book from. Hopefully it'll be out in Europe soon, and hopefully it'll be available on ebook in Europe soon. And Elizabeth and Alanis, if you're listening to this, hopefully that copy you said you'd send me will be turning up soon.
Well, maybe it's got stuck in customs because, it's not allowed into this country. Being Rich Energy in that.
bit like the drink. So yeah, it seems that the world of F1 sponsorship is still as murky as it has been since the days of the Nigerian prince that put the branding all over the Arrows cars when they're covered in T- logos and nobody could find the product anywhere.
Yeah, there was that, but don't forget was that Sean Kelly retweeted something from I think the 80s where a team ran out of money. But they literally were going around. They literally went around the town wherever the race was, and were asking people to give them money. They put their names on the cars.
Oh yeah, and there ended up with a pub's name on it, didn't it?
Yeah, was it like Leighton House or someone like that?
I think it was Leighton House. I remember seeing the car and it was light blue, which was Leighton House. Yeah.
Oops.
Money in Formula One, great mix. So, on to the American Grand Prix, because that's never controversial, is it? Hopefully, there won't be any complaints about the circuit this year, because there's usually one of the big races there says the circuit's not right for them because it's been designed for everything else.
It was quite bumpy last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Last year?
MotoGP had a kick-off. The track got resurfaced, and then in the F1 race last year, Flood, I think it was you that pointed out there was 3 different track compounds all in the same corner.
Yeah, 3 different tarmac compounds, in the same corner.
Interesting.
Which was the heavy braking zone at the top of the hill going into turn 1.
I think the good thing this year, though, as far as the bumps and stuff goes, is Formula One hasn't had any issues with bumps this year, so everything should be fine.
We need the Wayne's World Dream Sequence music for that. Yeah, I can see teams that have had porpoising issues struggle a great deal. Which, I mean, the main 2 are really Mercedes and Ferrari.
Mm-hmm. McLaren have had sketchy moments with porpoising as well,
they've
haven't
had
they?
the odd one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's been as frequent as the other 2, but yeah, it has definitely happened to them. I mean, can we see past a Red Bull win again?
If there's a big bump in
difficult.
the circuit, I implore somebody to make the meme of whichever car loses it on the bump saying "felt cute, might porpoise later."
Ready to get inundated with them. But yeah, it's going to be another Red Bull one, because I mean it's kind of one of those 50-50 tracks where it's sort of partially aero and partially engine.
And they are extremely strong at both right now.
Yeah, you know, they are right in the middle for being the top team on both of those. So it's more a question of who's going to come second. To me,
It should be Sergio Perez.
now that's the thing, because Perez is consistently inconsistent. He's coming off the back of a win.
Well, that was in...
Yeah, win a
Singapore.
second.
Yeah. Is he due one of his mess ups in qualifying and has to start 9th?
Will they give
Maybe.
him a new engine, potentially?
So he doesn't suffer in Mexico.
Well, because Mexico is very engine heavy, isn't it, because of the altitude?
Yeah.
And did he have a Gremlin at some point? In the
But
last
the,
couple of races?
Yeah, I seem to remember
Yeah,
in
that's
Japan he was
possibility.
losing a bit of power.
But they do want to wrap the constructors up, though, don't they, in the US, which is looking pretty likely, to be fair. Then they can go to Mexico and hopefully gift Sergio Perez a win in Mexico.
But I think to do that, he'd probably need a new engine this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the only thing I think will stop that is them wanting Max to win loads of races in a season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
make a record that can't be broken.
Yeah, Max is busy racking up a new record. I can't see him going, off you go, Sergio.
I mean, to be honest, I couldn't actually see him doing that to any teammate.
I can't either, to be perfectly honest. I'm fair enough. We all hate when Schumacher gave Barrichello a win. You know, it's not really what we want to see, is it?
Yeah, but that was paying him back for how many wins had Barrichello been forced to give Schumacher over the course of.
Oh, I mean, it goes both ways. Don't get me wrong. It goes both ways. It's not like nobody likes to see.
Yeah, I don't think Perez has ever been
moves.
in. I can't think of a situation. I'm sure it may well have happened where Perez was in front and Red Bull went, "Yeah, would you mind just letting Max pass for the win and you just take second?"
I feel it might have happened at some point, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, I think it happened once, but I can't remember when.
I think there was one time last season where they told him to let Max pass, and he lost it with them. It's like,
But Barrichello was doing it every other week. Barrichello was the lead Ferrari for like quite a lot of his time at Ferrari. I was like, go on, just let Michael pass. Like, okay, yeah, there he goes.
Yeah, brake temperatures are high. Ease off. That was the usual one that they sent to him.
Yeah. Well, slow puncture. Oh, is there really? Because I'm out 20 seconds in the lead, yeah?
Yeah, you're a pit stop ahead of third. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I think it's a question of which team then will be second, because Red Bull have got the full package for this one.
Don't know what Mercedes is going to turn up, do we? I don't think Mercedes even know what kind of Mercedes is going to turn up. But it's not going to be fast enough to win the race.
No.
Is it going to be quick enough to challenge Ferrari? Possibly. Depends how Ferrari feeling this week.
And do we get the porpoising Ferrari as well?
Maybe.
Ferrari's porpoising was never. It was an issue, but it was not.
It didn't slow them.
No, it didn't slow them down, did it? And also, I don't think any teams have really porpoised since.
They changed the rules, didn't they? Was it the ride heights or something?
Yeah, there was a little bit in Singapore, but it was only in the practice sessions from what I could remember.
But
I don't think I saw any in the race.
That wasn't porpoising. That was just like surface bouncing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's like that was just the cars hitting the deck, whereas porpoising is aerodynamic stalling, isn't it? Essentially.
Yeah.
But I honourable thought for George, because like the Mercedes wasn't a slow car last weekend, and it's got some fairly good straights on it, the Circuit of the Americas, and he got a new engine last weekend.
Yeah, maybe might be gearing up for a run at this race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what Alpine come out with this weekend as well.
Yep,
because
Alpine McLaren battle is getting good, isn't it, for fourth?
Yeah, because I mean, the Alpine was quick in a straight line last week.
It's so weird, isn't it? Like whoever comes fourth doesn't deserve it. Because Alpine have lost a load of points through like failures and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and McLaren have lost a load of points through Daniel Ricciardo. It's like neither team deserves to get fourth.
Who's in sixth? Are they more deserving somehow?
I want to say AlphaTauri, but I'm not sure.
No, I think it is.
Aston Martin, isn't it?
No, they're right down the back.
I thought they'd scrape their way up a little bit. Let's check. Let's find a Formula One thing here.
Let's do actual research before we start talking about something.
Yeah,
who's in sixth? Nautically.
Alfa Romeo are actually.
Oh, are they? Pretty much the only team we didn't mention there.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo's sixth, Aston Martin seventh, Haas eighth, AlphaTauri in ninth, and Williams in 10th.
Wow.
AlphaTauri ninth now. Jesus
Good
Christ,
Lord.
they have slipped.
There is only 18 points between Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild, isn't it? That you can have Red Bull, which are like right out the front, smashing everything to bits, and its sister team keeping Williams company.
Well, not keeping Williams company as such. They're more than triple the points ahead.
But still
quadruple the points ahead. But even still,
on the chart, they're closer to them than they are the others.
The level on points with Haas, it's just that Haas got it on countback because K-Mag got 5th place.
Yeah, no, I just find it wild that you've got a team like doing as well as Red Bull, and the sister team is just nowhere in sight. Because I mean, let's face it, every single year for the past 4 years at least, we've gone. I wonder if AlphaTauri are going to be up there with the big teams this year.
And once again, they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've had reliability issues, which is something that Red Bull certainly hasn't.
Yuki Tsunoda.
All right, they've had Red Bull and barrier issues. But, yeah, I mean, no, sixth place in the championship is still up for grabs between any one of 4 teams.
But Latifi wins. Williams finish in that position.
Ooh.
He's on a hot streak now, isn't he?
What, of 1 point scoring finish?
Yep. He's on a roll.
Yeah, that is his hottest streak in F1.
You got to get 1-1 to start a trend.
Yep. Got to start somewhere.
Unfortunately, like the races for him to have this trend are narrowing.
Oh no, sorry, tell that he did get 2 consecutive points finishes.
Did he get
Last
points
year.
in Singapore?
No, last year.
Last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hungary and technically Belgium.
Yes.
Well,
Belgium qualifying, we'll say.
yeah.
Hearty asterisk next to that streak, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. A points to start. Not really a points finish.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm looking forward to seeing what Alpine can do this week. I'd also like to see Bottas do more than participate.
Yes.
Bottas has slipped off the radar, hasn't he? Totally. He's just sort of fallen off the face of the earth. Doing really well early season, and then just started not at all doing very well lately.
Yeah, I mean he's not scored a point since Canada.
He
Wow.
has been in America well in advance, launching his new bike range and taking part in a weird bicycle race.
What was it?
A weird bicycle race.
Belgian-
With weird bicycles?
Was it
No,
the
it was like
Belgian waffle
Belgian
ride Kentucky
waffle
or something?
something or other. Yeah, it sounded weird.
That sounds made up. That sounds like something Bottas has just come up with to make Americans.
No,
think
it was
this is a
something.
good
It was
idea.
something Tiffany Cromwell won last year, so I think he somehow tagged along with her this year. And what was it called? The Belgian waffle
The James
ride
Vowels. Sorry.
in Kansas.
Yeah, the Belgian waffle of Kansas or
Yes.
something.
Who's Tiffany Cromwell?
Mrs. Bottas.
All right, okay.
Well, no. Yes.
yeah,
yes,
not
Mrs.
yeah.
Bottas. Yes, Mrs. Bottas, but also not Mrs. Bottas.
The next Mrs. Bottas, we think.
Yes.
But yes, Bottas has gone completely anonymous. Even Bruno thinks so.
Okay.
But yeah, no points since Canada.
Let me just ask Jinx. What does Jinx think about Valtteri Bottas?
Get her to answer Bruno.
I'm Jinx.
Jinx is quite. She's purring, so she must approve.
Big fan then.
Oh.
I know she's
Not
playing.
an F1 fan then, no.
No, not really. No.
So, I mean, if you think about it, Alfa Romeo could be a lot further ahead of the rest of the midfield than they are if they weren't hemorrhaging points.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wonder how many teams have stopped developing their car early on this year and after they sort of started understanding them. Because a lot of teams went to early races and didn't really understand the cars. Focus was purely on Mercedes, obviously, because of the fallback that they had from being at number one to being essentially third, possibly fourth best car at one point. But I think a lot of teams didn't, possibly right until mid-season, were like, oh, okay, so this is what happens when we do this on these types of cars. And I think a lot of the ones further back have probably gone, right, stop now. Right, just stop development for this year. We're not probably going to get an awful lot out of the car anyway, so let's cancel the rest of this year. Just turn up for the races, but start the development for next year.
I think even like other cars,
Fernando Alonso had better hope that's what's happening anyway.
Yeah. If you get someone that sees, maybe there was another team that came up with the Ferrari side pod ideas, but then decided not to go with it, and then saw the downforce that yields. It could be a case of going, misstep. We probably should have done that. Yeah. Let's work to do that next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, saying about teams not understanding the cars, Mercedes still don't, as we said last week, still don't know which direction they're going in for next year.
No, this is what they say publicly, but does seem a bit strange.
Well, they've officially denied knowing which direction they're going in, so therefore they do. Shall we go for some predictions?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we can give it a go. I'll go
So
first.
don't all rush at once.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I don't mind. I'll go first. It's going to be a Verstappen win. Perez is going to finish second, and Carlos Sainz will finish third.
I'm going for the same first two, but I'm going for Ocon to finish third.
Oh.
I thought you were going to go for Leclerc.
No, I reckon Ocon.
After delivering the Ballon d'Or on his 2013 Lotus Alpine today.
Karim Benzema.
Oh, is
Karim
that
Benzema.
is that who won?
Yeah, who knew?
Ronaldo only came 20th, which is his worst showing ever.
Lee, do you want me to go? Or
You can do.
yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm going to go Verstappen win, Sainz second, Perez third after coming back from a grid penalty for an engine.
Mm.
Going all in on my engine theory.
I can't see past Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, but that's so boring. So I'm going to go George Russell win. Carlos Sainz, because the quick guys, there's something's going to have to happen to them for George to win. Carlos Sainz second, and Lando Norris third. Fan fiction.
That
The
is
bro
some
podium.
bants on the podium, isn't it?
The Brodium. Yeah, we'll see how that one stacks up. Obviously, if you want to take part, you can go to our website, threelegs4wheels.com, with our Gulf livery, and go to the games section and prediction leagues there. You can predict top 3, pole position, fastest lap, is there going to be a safety car or not, and number of non-finishers or starters. And we will see how it gets on. If you want to get in touch, then email 3legs4wheels@gmail.com, at 3legs4wheels on the socials, and on Twitter individually we are
At Sean Cowper.
At Flood21.
At a total shunt.
and at Pablo100. If you want to take advantage of the offer that we've got with NordVPN, just go to nordvpn/4wheels or check the podcast page on the website and the link will be there if you want to sign up for that. And
You can get rid of Crofty.
And if you want to help us out in other ways, get the show a little bit early, and in the case of this week, get an extra show where we talked about all kinds of weirdness. You can sign up at Patreon, patreon.com/3legs4wheels, from £1, $1, €1, one other currency unit that's internationally recognised. If you want to send us a Bitcoin, we'll accept that. Every month.
Yeah, that'd be great.
1 Bitcoin.
One Bitcoin.
I'll take one.
One
I'll take 1 Bitcoin. Yeah,
one Bitcoin a month.
yeah, I'll do that.
But sorry, we don't accept Doge.
Yeah.
Yeah, until it balloons. Right, we'll be back next week. We'll have a Mexican Grand Prix to look forward to and a USA Grand Prix to look back on. Until then, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
We will.
Bye.
Ciao.